So you've been grinding deliveries, lifting boxes, and maybe even running a few shady meat methods. And now you're tired of waiting around for refresh timers or fighting off the competition at the loading docks. I'm gonna show you today on a better method to make money, and it's called off-road bus driving. It's clean, consistent, and with the right setup, you'll make over 300k every 20 minutes with none of the manual loading or delivery cooldown headaches. And the best part, it's relaxing, satisfying, and surprisingly efficient. Especially once you take advantage of one of the most underrated buses in the game. But before we jump behind the wheel, let's talk about what you need to get started. To run this route and maximize your profits, here's the bare minimum what you need. You need to have bus driver level 3, driver level 5, 60k to purchase the Lilliput, and about 140k for quality of life upgrades. And lastly, you must be able to have a company or be part of a company. If your levels are a bit too low, then no worries. Head to Gwangjin bus terminal, rent the smallest available bus, and grind out one of these beginner routes. This Gwangjin-Gapa downtown, probably pronounced it totally wrong, and the Gwangjin town one. They're quite short, they're simple, but they'll definitely get your levels up quick. Once your levels are set, head to the Nam1 bus dealership and buy the Lilliput for 60k. So why are we getting the Lilliput? Well, it's one of the most beginner-friendly buses in Motortown, but don't let the size fool you, because this little powerhouse is perfect for off-roading, which is key for this route. It's compact frame, it's lightweight, and has tight turning radius, making it ideal to navigate through the muddy shortcut we're about to take. Now head to the tuning shop, and if you want to fast track the tuning, use the preset code 59797, because this will get your bus ready for the off-road action in seconds. If you prefer to tune it yourself, then at least get yourself a lock differential, ride height plus 10 centimeters, wheel spacers 100 millimeters, and optionally suspension dampers of 500%, the bus engine of 230 HP engine, and a 6-speed light bus transmission to make your life a lot easier, because it will make the off-road sections a lot smoother and prevent common issues like bottoming out or losing control in the deep mud. And if you haven't already set up your company, then head to Gwangjin City Hall and create it. And once your company is live, press O to open the company menu and go to bus routes and click add. And either manually add the route that I'm about to explain or import using the code in the description. So let's walk through the route now. This custom route is called Gwangjin-Gapa and it includes 8 stops. At first, we start at Gwangjin. Then we do Namdang Sawmill, Gapa bus terminal, Gapa supermarket, the Gapa wrench, the Gapa wrench return site, the supermarket return site, and then we end up at the Gapa bus terminal. This route is calculated based on road distance, but we're cutting off half the time by taking a muddy shortcut, and that's where this Lilliput's gonna shine. Before you start the route, I highly recommend placing a Campy van at the Gwangjin base, especially if your server doesn't already have one. This lets you quick spawn your Lilliput right at the start. Optionally, you can also bring in a fuel tanker using a Jamusi or an Atlas tanker to refuel. Although Gwangjin has now a gas station, but it only works if the population is higher than 20%, so that's something to keep in mind. Once you're set, spawn the Lilliput and select your route. Now drive to the first stop and press X to open the door, or D-pad up if you're playing on a controller, and let the passengers board. Once your passengers are inside, you will see a comfort circle at the center bottom of your screen. This is key. The white dot represents your driving, and if strays into the red, your passengers will lose comfort, which means a smaller payout. So keep the bus smooth and don't crash and avoid sudden stops. You also need to watch your schedule, because at each stop, the game will tell you if you're too early, on time, or late. Being on time gives you an additional payout bonus. So if somebody wants to get out at a stop, make sure if you're too early that you stop and wait until the timer says you're on time, and then drive to the stop and let the passengers get out. Now for the route. The first part is basically just following the route as the directions are shown, until you get to this intersection. That's where we head into the muddy off-road. The muddy shortcut has 3 sections you need to master. Section 1. You need to build up some speed and keep the bus straight, and ease up on the throttle once in the mud to avoid digging in. Once you are over the hill, you're clear to go. Muddy section 2, you need to keep the momentum through the thickest mud and use the handbrake to steer into the right direction. Then once you're out that first patch, stay straight and power through the other patch and you should be good to go. And the last one is the biggest part, but you can totally skip it. For the muddy section, go to the left, up the hill, make sure you have some speed, but watch out for those rocks, because otherwise you might either crash into it and lose your comfort level, or you totally flip over and then you lose all the comfort level. But once you're over the hill, just slow down a bit and hug the left side and follow the road on the screen. And then, once you're at the end of that off-road section, you should be able to get on the road again and just breeze through the sawmill. If done correctly, you should end up at the sawmill with way too much time and you're probably way too early. But this is the reason why we added this stop in there, because usually nobody wants to get out, so you can just go there, stop, and then the schedule updates, and then you see you got like 3 minutes to get to the Gapa bus terminal, which makes sure that once you get there, you probably only need to wait 30 seconds before you can drop off your passengers. Now finish the loop until you get to Gapa bus terminal again. And when you delivered all the passengers, just despawn your bus and do the route again. There's no cooldown like the deliveries, you don't need to wait for items to refresh, and best of all, you don't need to lift a single box and manually load that in. Now if you're on a multiplayer server, the town bonuses can push your payouts even higher, especially with the Gapa and Gwangjin, because they're mostly boosted to, oh you know, a certain run. So there you have it, an easy and peaceful way to make over 300k every 20 minutes with zero delivery stress and a ton of XP along the way. Hop in your Lilliput, hit that route and drive smart. And hey, if you already tried that shortcut, let me know this in the comments and what's your best payout or fastest time. And I'll catch you next time in my other videos.